Hey guys, I want to tell you about this new model Aura model layer. I will tell you the idea behind this separation to layers, and I will show the client implementation, and I will tell you the plans of improvement. So let's start from the Lambda. Right now Lambda client looks like this. So we have instance of this service which has four methods. It's basically CRUD, create, read, update, delete methods. So if you go to Lambda, what the goal of this Lambda file is just to prepare parameters to these four methods. So this service layer is basically a business layer. It contains all if-else statements. It contains all the logic, which is readable, human readable for any person in the company, not even an engineer. And to understand how things are going, we do not go into deeper layers. Everything should be understandable from here. Yes, here we have a small simple dependency injection into constructor with default values, so that we can instantiate this client service here without any dependencies. But if we want to mock some data, we can call this constructor with these parameters. So from Lambda we call only service layer. From service layer we call only mapper layer, and mapper layer works with entities. Is the main idea of these layers. I hope you will save this idea in the future. The mapper itself has implemented an interface. Mapper has a bunch of methods. It's actual get, create, update, delete, and prepare methods. Prepare methods is synchronous method that returns us a params query. You can see it here. It's basically an object from SQL and parameters. It was done to perform transactions. You can see in the mapper implementation. By the way, all base classes are stored in the base folder. It was done to, in the future, to move this code to separate npm package so we could use it in different projects. Of course, after we cover it with tests. So here is implementation of the interface that I just showed you. So get method is basically prepared get, and we pass this data to query. Query is also a public method that triggers DB. I will show. Sorry. This triggers DB. The DB is also injected into this class into constructor, and you can switch it if you want to cover it with a test. And right now this OB query is taken from where? From OneVision/DB. I will show you. Here is it. Here is a query and transaction that we are using right now. If you want to mock it, you can do it. Just pass the correct data into the second parameter of constructor. Sorry about the additional noise. Disadvantages of working from home. So this implementation of the mapper layer. A mapper works with entities, and it receives entity constructor here into self constructor, and this entity use it to instantiate every time we perform prepare method. We instantiate this entity for validation or to cut some information, like some fields which are not described in the actual entity. So for example, if you pass some additional data into entity constructor and it was not described in entity constructor, I will show you example of client entity right now. If it's not described here, it will not exist in the actual entity, because if we go to base entity, you can see here constructor, and we are not allowed other property apart from described in here. So you can find this implementation in the base entity class. And at the end of constructor, we seal in this entity just to avoid adding of new properties into this class. For example, if anyone want to add like this, in strict mode there will be an exception, and in the other mode it will be ignored, and in TypeScript it will be an error also. So that's how it's implemented. I will show you some entities. Oh, by the way, I forgot to show you how entities are described. So it has table name method, which returns us a table name, obviously, and it has list of properties with type, description, and this meta information. We pass it with decorator, and we can pass any meta information into this object. Yes, we can, for example, provide custom DB alias if it's not matches our rule. For example, DB alias for this will be like this, but we don't need to provide it since in the base entity we are using method camel to snake case, which do stuff like this for us. But if we have like custom alias, for example with digits, we can provide custom alias in here in meta information here. And we can also provide some meta information for validation, and this will be used when we creating a new row in database. In the future, I guess this layer, entity layer, will be used in the front end also, and all this information, all this meta for validation, we can use in the front end and in the back end as well. So let's go to the base class. No, I think I finished with this. I will show you a bit about my plans to improve this. Of course, I need to cover all these base classes with tests, and the other point of improvement is to use Node.js streams. It should be implemented from here, from this DB model. So right here we are using a variable query result. Instead of this, we need to return a stream, so we could pipe data from here to front end, and while piping data we can pack this data into JSON and and this the advantages of these pipes and streams. This allows us not to use lots of memory, and I think it will be faster. So I guess that's it. The idea of these entities is basically description of our domain models. And we can store, we can describe all our domain with declarative style. So I guess we were done with it.